Good morning, gang. It's Saturday, the 17th of February, 2018. Welcome along to this morning's United Kingdom talk. Hope you're well this morning. No more fun in Wandsworth. Oh, now what's all this about? I heard this on the radio I think on the television or the radio this morning, and I looked it up immediately on my Google Express app. Look at this. In the Evening Standard, this appeared yesterday. What was that? It's that blooming Google thing, isn't it? It does annoy me, that does. I noticed on Google, the videos keep playing. They just start playing automatically. It's so annoying, dude, because you hear the noise, didn't you? You heard a little bit of guitar music then, didn't you? Anyway, London Borough of Wandsworth plans fines of up to £500 for climbing trees, flying kites, or playing cricket in park. I'm not making this up. This is in the Evening Standard. These are parks that are supposed to be public spaces. I've seen it all now, dear. It says in the Evening Standard from yesterday, it's always been seen as one of the most innocent childhood pursuits, a rite of passage, physical challenge, fondly recalled in adult life. Come on, who hasn't climbed a tree? Who hasn't climbed a tree? But now, Killjoy councillors in London are threatening a clampdown on tree climbing in dozens of public parks with the threat of a £500 fine to back it up. You can't make this crap up, can you? Do you know, each day I open the newspaper or I look at the news and I become more dismayed about humans. I really do. Children in Wandsworth clambering up an old oak or a maple tree without reasonable excuse. I mean, what does that mean? Reasonable excuse. What is your reason? Is that what's going to happen? So you'll have some 10-year-old up a tree, you know, a girl up a tree or a boy up a tree, and a councillor, you know the sort. You know the sort. They come with their little green, I don't know what colour uniforms they are. They come along with their little uniforms and the notepad. We'll have the notepad. We'll have the glasses on the end of the nose. Okay, some bloke to come up or some woman, you know. Excuse me. Could you tell me, what is the reasonable excuse you've got for climbing up that tree? I mean, obviously, you know, your children are going to have to be taught to be clever about this. Okay? You could, for example, say that you saw a caterpillar climbing up the tree and you were concerned that the caterpillar was going to eat the leaves off the tree. Therefore, you were going to carefully and gently remove the caterpillar and place it back on the ground before it did damage to the trees. Then the old bag who's come along to nick you can get off and do one. I mean, you've never heard anything like... Oh, I've never heard anything like it. What excuses would you use? Say you're up a tree, or your child is up a tree. Okay, what, as I quote, reasonable excuse are you going to use to the busybody who's going to come along with their clipboard or their little iPad to take your name and number and try and extract £500 from your bank account? What reasonable excuse are you going to come out with? Have a little think, type it on there, okay? Or you can call in. There's a phone line open as well this morning. It's 020 8144. No, it's not. Just a moment, please. Not open yet. One moment, please. One moment, please. Lines are open. 020 8144 3477. What excuse are you going to come out with? Either call in or put a message up there and I read it out. There is no more fun, is there? We are having fun removed left, right and centre. You can't even go to a nightclub and touch anyone up anymore. Through fear of being on the front page of the newspapers and dragged into the court 60 years later, no one's touching. Now, no one's climbing up trees. So not only can you not go into a nightclub, so when you've gone into the nightclub, you've been looking at all these beautiful people, a little bit like myself, you know, beautiful. You've looked at me and thinking, oh, I can't touch them. And then, frustrated, you leave the club, and what would you normally do? What would you normally do leaving a club frustrated? You'd go and climb a tree. Well, you can't do that now. Mind you, that could be classed as a reasonable excuse, couldn't it? You left a club feeling frustrated because you weren't allowed to touch anyone, so you are now climbing a tree to relieve that frustration. Perhaps not use the word relief. Is that a good idea? The story goes on. Children without a reasonable excuse will face the wrath of park police under a new set of rules governing behaviour in its 39 open spaces. The South West London Borough is overhauling park rules for the first time in nearly a century, with the threat that anyone breaking them could be fined and ejected by police-style officials. Along with the tree climbing, such traditional outdoor pursuits such as kite flying or knockabout game of cricket, along with other pursuits considered annoying to others, could fall foul of the regulations. Oh, I've got one they want to stop. Those blooming annoying long dog leads. You know the ones I mean? The ones where you push the button and this long string comes out and anyone coming along on a bike or anything has to stop or risks tripping over this blasted long dog lead. I hate those. Who invented those should be strung up by their legs and left to hang with the blood slowly oozing out of them. Sorry, I'm getting a bit too graphical here. Long dog leads, very annoying. What else would you ban in a park? There's another question for you. Put your answers down. I'm going to come to your messages in a moment. The borough's previously 27-point list, drawn up in 1924, will be replaced by 49 diktats. What's a diktat? D-I-K-T-A-T-S. They're just making these words up, aren't they? A diktat. I like that word. Diktat. Have you got many diktats? Have you got a small diktat? Have you got a large diktat? How many diktats have you got? There we are for our friends learning English. Some of them will watch this show, wherever you are in the world. A big welcome to you. See if you can try that one. Put that one in a sentence. Diktat. Diktat. The borough's previously 27-point list, drawn up in 1924, will be replaced by 49 new diktats, including bans on metal detectors. Beep, 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 beep. Who's going to find my money? I've buried it somewhere in London. Who's going to find it now? No one. No one. They're also going to stop remote control model boats on ponds if they are approved at a committee meeting on Wednesday. Oh, they can't approve this. Surely. The rules, I mean, what damage does a child with a remote control boat on a pond do? What damage is done there? I mean, how many of them? Oh, probably quite a lot. I had one of those once. I just kept losing connection with it. And eventually we had to leave the boat. I'm going to climb in a pond. The rules will be enforced by civilian park police. Oh, they're very important people, aren't they? Very, very important people who dress like the Met officers with a kit of stab vests, handcuffs and body cams. That is in case the 10-year-old child that you just dragged off the tree suddenly produces a knife and stabs them in the heart. Stab, stab, stab. Although it's pretty unlikely, isn't it, dear? Anyway, they've got handcuffs, body cams, but lack their powers. So they haven't got any powers. They don't have many powers, apparently, these people. But nevertheless, I mean, whatever next. So you're not allowed to climb trees in Wandsworth if it goes through. If it goes through at their special meeting on Wednesday. Very, very important meetings. Very, very important meetings. Let's read some of your messages this morning then. Good morning, Diane. First one in this morning. Good morning, Evan. Has sent me a picture. Thank you very much. Good morning to Faze. Morning, Faze. Ray Reynolds is in Woodford Green. Hello to Abdu. Good morning, Abdu. Tanya there. Good morning, Tanya. Shania on the Isle of Wight. Juan. Good morning to Juan. Mark Larney. Morning, Man. Juan says, my father climbs trees at the ripe old age of 77. What, not in Wandsworth? You'll get a £500 fine. The snowflakes are out again. The snowflakes are taking over. You're letting them take over. Don't let it happen. Talking of snowflakes, you'll love this one. Just a little mention of Jacob Rees-Mogg. You like him, don't you? Yeah, here's the really posh one. It's going to be on LBC tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock. I shall be listening to that on the way home from church. Jacob Rees-Mogg on LBC tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. You'll love him. If you're one of those lefty snowflakes, you're going to absolutely love him. Watch him, okay? Good morning to Ronnie this morning, who's had a bad night's sleep, haven't you? I told you, Ronnie, if you want to sleep, watch one of my shows. It's guaranteed to send you off like that. Good morning, SOS Gregorian. Welcome to you, sir. Ben says, good news regarding the Quebec. Yes, I gather, those of you that used to come to the City of Quebec pub, there's a new manager there. They've had some ghastly woman on there running the place. Name of Mona. I think Mona, something like that, who's really, according to a lot of the customers there, and you know, when a lot of people tell you the same thing, you know there must be some truth in it. She was horrible. She was really horrible. Well, apparently it looks like she's gone to be replaced by someone else. So I'm straight in there. You know, I mentioned that I used to do the karaoke there. So there's a tiny little chance that he might come back to me. I don't know. You know, it's one of those things. You have to sit and wait and hope and see what happens. All right. So I have sent a message. Thank you, Colin. Juan is very good on caterpillar analogy. Are you? Have you got caterpillars at home? What a strange pet to keep. Caterpillars. You got to watch it. Don't get them in the garden, dear. You'll have nothing left. If you see one caterpillar in the garden, you must take action immediately. Oh, yes, dear. I've had lilies in it. I think it was lilies. Yeah, that wasn't caterpillars. That was lily beetles. Tiny little red things. Smaller, I think, than ladybirds. Okay? And you see one on the plant. You go to bed, you get up the next morning, there's a stalk. All the plant's gone. Terrible. Good morning to Ondare. Morning, Ondare. Welcome to the show. Let's have a look. Zini is there. Good morning to Zini. Hello, Chris. Good morning, Chris. Oh, I thought you were going to pop in some last night. It was packed last night. What a wonderful night at the karaoke last night. But, of course, as there were so many people singing, it meant the gap between the songs. I think people were waiting 2.25 hours between their two songs last night. It was that busy last night, Chris. Never mind, I love. Zini says, hi, bruv. It's because they got to hide spy cameras in the trees. Oh, that might be what it is, Zini. They're hiding spy cameras in the tree. Well, they got cameras everywhere else, Zini. They might as well stick them in the trees as well. Do you know, it always amazes me how you can have a robbery or something terrible happen in the street. Oh, the cameras didn't quite get them. We couldn't quite see from the camera. And yet, you stray into a bus lane for a microsecond, bang! They've got your picture, your number plate, your face through the window, everything. Funny that, isn't it? Funny that. Good morning to Mary White, who had squirrels in the loft and was just returning them home. That's a good idea. Yes, you could do that one as you're climbing up that tree. Your excuse could be you had squirrels in the loft and you're returning them home. I like that very much, Mary. I like that very much, my dear. Incidentally, Mary, if you're still with, you might have gone by now, I don't know. Mary, I am looking for a little Tuesday and a Thursday and a Sunday at the moment. Because I've got too many nights off. I get a little bit bored at home. Tuesday, Thursday or Sunday. Any one of those. Quiz or karaoke if you hear of one. All right, darling. Good morning to Mike Harniman. Morning, Mike. Hope you're well. Mark Diamond is made up by idiots. Yes, correct. All this stuff is made up by idiots. No climbing trees in Wandsworth. I just told you. Tanya says, I asked my friend if he had a tic-tac I could suck, but he had no tic-tac. Pardon? Hawan says, thanks for the consultation on the bug. I do not garden. Oh, do you not like gardening? Oh, I love it. At the moment, I've got snowdrops, a few, not many daffodils, a few daffodils. Crocuses are starting to come up, and my Christmas roses, which are very beautiful in the middle of the garden there. All right. Good morning to Sun Juno. Welcome along to the show, sir. Hello to Ross. Good morning, Ross on YouTube, who loves the yellow shirt. This is my favourite shirt. It got lost for a while. Yes, I think someone was hanging on to it, hoping that I wouldn't notice. No names mentioned, of course. No names mentioned. Thank you very much. Andy, good morning, Andy, who also says I'm returning my nuts to the squirrels. Yes, and so you should do. All right, so that's the Wandsworth Council story for you this morning. What a shame. What a shame that they're going down this line. There will be no more fun in the world. I'm telling you that now. Now, where's my bit of paper with my writings? Oh, good news. You remember the passport yesterday? You remember the passport? I said I couldn't find my passport. Yes? Well, look. I rung up the estate agent. It's back already. Look at that. And I'm so well known now here in the UK from doing these shows. Look, that's all they have to put there. Chris UK. That's it. And it gets to me. Isn't that marvellous? Look at that. I think it's my passport anyway, which arrives because I said to you that I'd sent it off somewhere to an estate agent up north because I've got a property up north that's rented out. And whenever the tenant changes, they want all the paperwork. I don't know why they don't keep it on record because I've got some places down here as well. Doesn't happen down here. You know, they never ask for all this stuff again. Every time the tenant changes up north, they ask for all the stuff again. So I duly sent off my passport. Anyway, it hasn't arrived. So I was on the phone to them yesterday. And I'm very pleased. Just a moment. Oh, maybe it isn't. Oh, yes, it is. There we are. There we are. It's all come back. My energy statement. And here is my British passport, which hopefully will be blue soon again. Are we going to get blue passports back? I shall happily pay £500 for a new passport. There's my dodgy picture. You want to see the dodgy picture? I don't want to show you all my details, though. You mustn't see there's my dodgy passport picture. Oh, yes. Does that look like me, but with more hair? I shall have to show that to the relevant authorities when I go on holiday in October with my nephew. I'm taking my nephew on holiday again, and we're very much looking forward to that. Can't tell you where it is until April, because he doesn't know yet. Should I give you clues? Yes, okay. We are flying there. That is the clue. The clue is we are flying there. Okay? The passport is there, so I'm pleased that that's come back. Now, what else have I got to tell you today? Oh, yes. Now, reusable carrier bags. How are you with those? This is a reusable carrier bag from Sainsbury's. My most unfavourite supermarket. Staff and customers as miserable as sin. Don't go. Unless, of course, Sainsbury's wishes to sponsor this programme, in which case you should always shop at Sainsbury's every single time and not go anywhere else. At the moment, they don't sponsor it, so don't go. So these are the most useless reusable carrier bags I've ever come across in my life. You can only ever use them once. Look what happens. I mean, why put the handle as a bolt on and it just comes off? Look how easy. Look at that. Look at that. How useless is that, right? But the best ones are the ones where they've made the handle part of the bag and strengthened it with an extra bit of plastic. Here is an example from the Marks and Spencer's food hall. Now, these are all right. Okay, look. Right, any damage? No. Look. Okay? Oh. Well, I mean, it lasted longer, didn't it? Now, look at this one. What's what I do with this one? I'll do exactly the same. There you go. Done. Ruined. So, I don't know how they call the Sainsbury's carrier bags reusable carrier bags because they only last about 10 minutes. You put a couple of potatoes in there and a few tins of baked beans, that's it. Mark Harneman says they break so easily. Those anything. Actually, Sainsbury's aren't the only ones who do them like that. I think I've got Waitrose ones as well. But anything with the handle that has been attached as a separate bit of plastic, it don't last. So don't buy any of those, for God's sake. Here you are. Mark says, I don't like the Sainsbury's staff. They're appalling. They are. They're just so disinterested with the job. It's unbelievable. And they're miserable. They are miserable. There's a little fat thing. There's a little fat thing with our Sainsbury's Bracknell up the road down there. And he's got this beard and he generally works on the fruit and veg. Okay? And one day I picked something, I can't remember what it was, maybe a box of strawberries. Anyway, I had the strawberries and I got them in the basket. And I don't know about you, I chuck away a hell of a lot of strawberries. I don't know why. I look at them, oh, they look quite nice. And then they go in the fridge and then they stay there. And then eventually, and I look and they've gone mouldy. Chuck them away. So I've stopped buying strawberries, but I picked some up a couple of weeks ago. Put them in my little trolley. I'm walking along, avoiding the miserable customers. The miserable, and don't go in there on a Sunday. Oh, my God. What is that place like on a Sunday? Sainsbury's. Horrendous. They're even worse than during the week in there. Anyway, so I got my trolley and I'm going around. I got these, and I got blueberries as well. And I've got so far, and I thought, do you know what? I don't want the strawberries. I'm just going to waste £2 on a little punnet of strawberries. No, I'm going to put them back. So I picked them up and I looked around and I put them with the blueberries. I couldn't be bothered to walk back another foot. I put them in with the blueberries, which was also chilled as well. So it's the same thing. Well, this fat thing, and he is fat. God, he's obese. This fat thing with the beard and the ginger ears, ginger beard, and there's nothing wrong with being ginger, no. Before you start, oh, I'm ginger. Why are you cussing ginger people? I'm not cussing ginger people. I'm describing him for you. Yeah, it's like me saying I am a white man sitting there. That is a black man over there. That is a lady with blonde hair. I'm describing, dear. Do pay full attention to the show. So this fat thing comes along like that with the ginger beard and all that and balding head, and he's about 35 years old. He came over, grabbed the strawberries from there, gave me the most filthy look area, walked down a foot and chucked them back in with the strawberries. And that, my dears, is the typical reason I do not like going into Sainsbury's. Miserable, and they're not even cheap. I suppose down the line you've got Marks and Spencer's, Waitrose, Sainsbury's in order of price. Tesco's, Morrison's, Aldi, Lidl. Morrison's, Asda, Aldi, Lidl. So Aldi and Lidl are the cheapest ones down the bottom there. Awful place. So beware of those reusable carrier bags. Don't buy the ones with the bolt-on bits of plastic at the top there, okay? Evan says, Kim and I grow our own strawberries, blueberries, potatoes, cabbage, Brussels, cucumbers, tomatoes, Cornwall. Well, you're lucky because you're down in Cornwall. I can't grow those things here. I haven't got a south-facing garden. Mine's west. So I get flowers, but not too many of them. I've tried various things. Runner beans are really easy to grow, aren't they? God, they're so easy. I was giving them away. A couple of years ago, I was doing runner beans. Tomatoes, mine keep going. They get black blight on them. Black tomato blight. I don't think it's called black blight. It's just called blight. And they get big things on them and you have to chuck them all away. I don't know why that is. I get them in my garden like that, which is a shame. IKEA bags are awesome. Last a lifetime and different sizes, Mark. Oh, are they? I don't really go to IKEA. I can't be doing. There's nothing I need, really. I was talking to my mate about this the other day. There's nothing we want or need. Aren't we lucky to be like that, really? We are. I used to go out clothes shopping a couple of times here. You know, one big go down at the place in Bicester, Oxford Bicester, like designer outlets, but cheap. I say cheap, cheaper than the West End, much cheaper, much. Like some of them are half the price, a third of the price. I've got a jacket in there, £375. I paid £75 for it. You know, because it had just gone out of fashion, or maybe it was the last one on the peg in the shop. No one wanted to buy it. I bought it. But I've noticed it's got a lipstick mark on it. Someone has secretly kissed me. Would you like to see? Just a moment. I shall go and get this. I think someone has secretly kissed you. One moment, please. Talk amongst yourselves for a second. I'm back. Now look at this. Now where is it? Now this I spotted this yesterday when I put my show on to watch yesterday, because you know sometimes you put the telly on, there's nothing to watch. I mean, what better wonderful thing can I have than to sit there and watch my own shows? I mean, it is just fantastic. It really is. Sometimes before I go to bed, I've got nothing to do. I watch one of my own shows, and then I watch and I'm excited again. Do you get excited watching my shows? I'm sure you do. Anyway, look at this. Look what I found. Look. A lipstick mark on my top. Someone has secretly kissed me. Look at that. And I didn't notice the pair of lips attaching themselves to my chest. Look. Whose lips are these? You know what I'm going to have to do? I'm going to have to go into my various places of work, and I'm going to have to check this mark against people's faces to see who matches up with those lips. Oh, hang on a minute. Might be a virus on there, mightn't there? Oh, my God. There might be a disgusting virus from someone's mouth. Someone has secretly kissed me, boys and girls. Was it you? I think it might be the Lady Phoenix who sings at the karaoke. Because she wears bright red lipstick. What do you reckon? Look, look. Shocking, dear. Red lipstick everywhere. Terrible, dear. Terrible. Let's have a look here. Mike says, I just get a new one every time I go shopping. It's hardly a big deal spending an extra 5p or 10p. No, you're quite right, Mark. I mean, the amount of people that stand, I'm not buying a caravan. Oh, no, that's 5p. Or I'm not buying it. Even in Lidl. No, not in Lidl. I haven't got a Lidl. Audi. Even in Audi, you see them struggling back to the car with armfuls of shopping and then dropping the milk and then dropping the eggs because they wouldn't spend 5p on a caravan. Tight-fisted people they are, dear. Awful people. Let's have a look here. Good morning, Stuart, who says, I use an IKEA blue bag, almost indestructible. And you have two head. I'm going to have to go to IKEA just to get the bags. Stuart, I'll have a walk around. The trouble is, when you don't want something, Stuart, and you go to like a place like IKEA, you're not going, I'll just have a look, and then you come out with like £1,000 worth of stuff that you don't need. You don't need this stuff, don't you? But I could go for just the bags. Good idea. Good idea. Let's have a look here. Evan says, good. Yes, he's going to get his wife there to give me advice on gardening things and stuff like that. That's a good idea. Very good idea. Right, what else have we got here for you this morning? Concorde. Now, are you a person who collects things? How would you like to own a little bit of Concorde? Why are you looking at my nose? My nose was the actual original design for the Concorde nose. Did you know that? Well, when I say Concorde nose, here's the story. Here's the story. On this morning's BBC website, I'm still waiting for the phone call from the BBC, incidentally, offering me my own chat show. It's not come yet. I've only been waiting 15 years. I'm sure it will come at some point. A piece of aviation history will be up for grabs when a nose cone from the original Concorde passenger plane goes to auction next week. Time to get those checkbooks out, boys and girls. Stand by with your £10,000 limit on the credit card. You might want to ring up your credit card people now, okay? Not now, but after I finish the show, and ask for an increase in your credit so you can afford the Nose of Concorde. Sounds like the name for a film, doesn't it? The Nose of Concorde. It's 11 foot. I don't know what that is in metric. No, dear. This is the UK. I keep telling you, we don't do metric on this programme. Even Theresa May, did you see her? She was doing a little bit of a speech this morning in Berlin. Oh, yes, Mrs. Merkel wasn't at that one. Poor old soul, she couldn't get out of bed that early, Mrs. Merkel. They're weak. They're weak, those Europeans, you know, weak. Poor Mrs. Merkel. I can't get... Theresa May's there, bouncing and happy and jolly. 8 o'clock in the morning, she's on the stage. Where's Mrs. Merkel? Still... Who is it? Is it the British again? I go back to sleep. And she's gone back to sleep, Mrs. Merkel. Theresa May's there. She's on the stage, 8 o'clock in the morning, dear. Strong and stable. Anyway, the 11-foot tall cone is said to be the only unused nose cone from the few that were originally made for the Concorde fleet in the 1970s. You want one of these, don't you? I know someone who would want one of these. I know someone who collects everything. The price of between £45,000 and £60,000, might be a little bit out of your range, has been set by J.P. Humbert Auctioneers in Towcester, Northamptonshire. Concorde's last commercial flight took place on the 23rd of October 2003, because it used to fly over here, you know, right over my house. I kid you not, I'm not joking, not near the house, over the house. That is absolutely true, that is. And I would be woken up in it. I was DJing at the time. And in those days, I didn't get up till about 11:15 in the morning because I was DJing till late. I don't DJ much anymore anyway. I now finish at 12 o'clock rather than sort of 3 o'clock in the morning. So I'm up earlier to talk to you, fortunately. And it used to fly over my house 11 o'clock. Oh, the noise. Wow. And I miss that. I really miss Concorde flying over my house at that time. And you could set your watch. You know, bang on 11 o'clock, over it would go. Ah! Everything would shake. I loved it. Anyway, it was 2003. So how long ago is that? 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 15 years ago. 15 years ago. Time goes so quickly, doesn't it? I was talking to my sister last night, actually. And she was saying, I've been thinking about how much longer we've got. She says, I want to see the grandchildren all growing up and having their families, and I just realised I won't see that. I said, no, not necessarily. What are you talking about, girl? Christ, she's digging her own grave before she's even gone. Don't worry about things like that, love. I told her I've been booked to do this show for the next 20,000 years, non-stop. Yeah, will come a point where one day I'll turn on the camera and turn on the mic, and I will just continually talk for the next 20,000 years. Is that something that you'd like? It goes on. We appreciate this is not an inexpensive item. Really? £45,000? I think you might be right there. Talk about state the obvious. But I'd be hard-pressed to think that of a more exclusive, yeah, he's right, an iconic item to sell than a famous nose cone from the world's fastest commercial plane. And just imagine what fun you could have. Buying Concorde's nose. And probably maybe you could display it in your bedroom erect. In the middle of your bedroom, you could have that thing just sticking up there erect like that, waiting for you. Couldn't you, as you come into the bedroom? What a lovely thought. I'd be hard-pressed to think of a more exclusive and iconic item to sell, he says, and the auction is going to take place next Thursday, boys and girls, so keep an eye out for that. Can you let me know if you win that? Okay? Do let me know if you win the Concorde nose. I know you want that in your bedroom, waiting for you as you come to bed. Now you walk into the bedroom and there it is, standing there erect, right next to your bed, awaiting your appreciation. I know you want one. You do want one, don't you? Good morning to Chris Harvey this morning, joining us on the Periscope. Morning, Chris. Hawan says, Concorde would land at LaGuardia Airport here in Queens. Oh, is that right? Yes. Because I think you could go to New York. Was it in 4 hours you could do New York? Something like that. Mike says, imagine someone buying the Concorde nose thing and breaking it on the way home. I bet that happens, actually, because I think you're supposed to insure stuff from the moment you buy it, aren't you? So that that journey on the way home, you don't break it. You just lose £60,000 on that, wouldn't you? Eh? Concorde was a little less loud. What, that one? Yeah, you could be right there. You could be right. Let's have a look there. Mike says, my mate went into the local Sainsbury's yesterday and they gave him a Tesco bag. How does that work? I don't believe you. How is that possible? Why would that happen? Andy says, I've always wanted something erect in my bedroom. Maybe this is the thing for me. I'm sure it is, Andy, but have you got £60,000 to spend? It'll probably go above that, don't they? That's the guide price. Doesn't it always go up more than the guide price? I think it does, doesn't it? Good morning to Simon Gilman, joining us a little later this morning as well, aren't you? All right? Good. Okay, boys and girls, that's all from me today. We're going to do today's... There's only one birthday today, from what I can see. Happy birthday this morning to Sarah Paul. It's Sarah Paul's birthday today, and you are 32 years old. So happy birthday to Sarah this morning. I shall sing your little song, my darling. Here it comes. Nothing happening, is there? Try that one. Ah. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday dear Sarah, happy birthday to you. Isn't it funny? Only one birthday today. Sometimes you get like 15 or 20 birthdays. Today, one. Mark Diamond said, I'd worry if something that travelled at Mach 2 would break if dropped. The only time I've seen you travel at Mach 2, Mark Diamond, is when you're on the way to the bar for another drink, dear. Christ, it's like a whirlwind. Whoosh! Straight to the bar. Anyway, that's it for the show today. Thanks very much for joining me, boys and girls. A pleasure, as always, to have a little chat to you. I'll see you again, hopefully, at some time tomorrow for another chat. Meantime, if you're in North London tonight, I'm hosting tonight at Central Station in Wharfdale Road, King's Cross. We got cabaret tonight from Charlie Hyde, who really is very, very good. She's been on the telly in that, oh God, what's that programme called? You know, the American drag queen programme. Can't remember what it's called. Drag Queens of America, something like that. She's been on that, and she's really top quality. She puts a lot of work and effort into her show. An awful lot of work and effort. Anyway, we've got her tonight as a special at Central Station in Wharfdale Road, King's Cross. That's Saturday the 17th of February 2018. Show starts at 10:30, okay? I think if you get in by 9:30, it's free. After that, I think it's a small price on the door. So that's happening tonight. Have a nice... once again, yes, I am looking for to host another karaoke or quiz night, either Tuesday, Thursday or Sunday. So if you know of anywhere that might be interested in taking my little karaoke night or quiz night, do send us a private message and I'll follow it up. All right? Have a nice day, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching and listening. Bye-bye now.